Welcome back to Altenberg in Saxony on a crisp, cold but dry and snow-free morning as we get ready for the second and deciding heat in the third race in the Men's Skeleton World Cup. The BMW IBSF World Cup campaign in Europe starts here in Saxony. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Martin Haven and alongside me, John Morgan. And what a first heat we've got in prospect, John, a second heat.
Local athlete from Dresden, Axel Young. He's got probably 500 people here from his fan club. He's got a bad back, we're hearing, and you know, he's pretty good North American swing, but he's in a medal position. Martin Stukars, well, we always talk about this guy, and he's won the last 3 or 4 times on this track, and Stukars does what he always does. Perfect form, look at it, out of that really tough Kreisel curve on this track, and he comes to the bottom, and he's in great position, silver at least. But this guy, Christian Grothier, he's never won more than one bronze medal in the World Cup Tour. Didn't have the best start time, but he found the rocket line down the track, and on this very difficult track, he made it look easy. But he might be taking advantage of some home track right there. Track record, too.
Yeah, track record, just underlining how lightning fast the ice is. And this track always has great ice. Christopher Grothier leads by nearly a quarter of a second, but look at the battle. Second, third, fourth. Somewhere in there, we're going to see our new World Cup points leader, perhaps being Martins Stukars. Matt Antoine, who lies second in World Cup standings at the moment, is in 10th position. And a slew of guys behind him with PBs, Rhys Thornberry, Mark Aurora. Outside the top 20, Alexander Auer, whose brother Florian beat him by 300ths. So Florian's in, Alex is out, as is our youth Olympic champion from Russia, and the remaining 7 sliders. There's Martin Stukars making adjustments to his sled. In the yellow jacket, just hidden by him, Christopher Grothier from Oberhof. A very similar track, short, narrow, twisty, demanding on a driver. But as you said, his best in World Cup has ever been a bronze medal. We had a first-time winner for Germany in women's skeleton yesterday, John. We could see the same again.
Well, if he does what he did in the first run, he's going to be tough to catch, because he didn't have the best start. And when you don't have a start, he had the 8th best start, and you turn that into the best time at the bottom, you got some local track knowledge.
-7 air temperature is down to about -15 overnight. Ice temperature has risen a couple of degrees from -8 to -6, and that will probably help the track speed up a little as well. Incidentally, Park City, Utah, they're supposed to be training for North American Cup. It was -16 there overnight. The ice fell off corner 6. Too cold for the ice. Florian Auer will be first to go here in Altenberg, followed by Kevin Boyer of Canada, as they go 20 down to 1 in reverse order of their first heat performance. Both runs count. Aggregate time will win, so Grothier is not home and dry. He's got to keep it together in the second heat and somehow fight off Martin Stukars. Second heat of the BMW IBSF Skeleton World Cup from Altenberg about to get underway. Mickey Grunberger, the Austrian coach, holding the sled for one of 2 sliding brothers called Auer. This is the younger of them, 23-year-old Florian. His brother Alexander missed the cut by 300ths, beaten by his younger sibling, whose father was a former world champion in men's skeleton.
And we told the story in the first run. These 2 kids competed in the World Championships in Erzgebirge last year, and 20 years to the day that their father won his first World Championships on the same track. It was a pretty inspirational moment.
25? He won 91, yeah. So he's even older. Even older.
He did a great job. He was one of the organizers of that World Championships in Erzgebirge last year. Very awesome 2 weeks we spent there.
Alex was telling me that when they were kids, they took their first trips down from the top of the track when they were 2 or 3 years old, with their dad kneeling on the sled and them lying underneath. So he was breeding them early to become sliders.
He didn't see him in North America. His brother Alexander, who didn't make the cut, was in North America. Yeah. I read about that, yeah. So Florian, this is his first World Cup of the year. He's through and down 57.97. That's 2,900ths better in the second run than the first. The start times are pretty equal. Like you mentioned in the pregame, the track could be faster. Yeah. And we already saw track record the first run. We could see another one here. Depends how things hold up. I think it's going to get warmer. It's a high overcast. Beautiful setting here when everything's white.
Yeah.
The old East German Sports Training Center. Watch the hands cross over. Think this is easy? Now watch, does he land with his chest or his knees?
Floats down.
That is beautiful, beautiful technique. Keep watching that as this competition unfolds. Some people land with their knees, and that sort of puts different pressure on the sled.
Like Thomas Ducours, he's a southpaw, so he's a lefty, pushing from the extreme left-hand side of the sled. Not too many of them in the field.
All these orange shirts.
Axel Jung's fan club, you'll see them all over the place. And next up, Kevin Boyer. Canadian in 19th position. Teammate Dave Kresh-Cheshin didn't make the cut.
Yeah, Grizz didn't have a very good run. Very surprised that the experience that he's got. He's a top 10 competitor.
8th fastest start for Boyer. This is his first season on the World Cup, and certainly the start is one of his strong suits. 17th in Whistler, missed the cut though in Lake Placid, only 24th in that run.
This is a pretty good accomplishment for him to come over here and get in the top 20 in his first World Cup on this track. Good lines here. Oh, he's got a half-second lead. That's relative to he beat Auer by 2900ths at the start.
And Boyer's only ever raced here once before. That was in the Junior Worlds in 2015. So he spent 1 week on this track before now. So total runs probably still fewer than 20.
He's losing time back. 3200ths. Probably should be the leader, probably in the teens.
He'll be trying to chase down Hiro Takahashi in front of him, 1800ths in front of Florian Auer. So Kevin Boyer will, at very worst, hold his position.
Yeah, he was 900ths worse. Remember, Auer was like 2900ths better.
So the beaver on the helmet, the West Canadian Native American art. So the beaver beats the bear, at least Grizz is. Barrett Martineau, his teammate, was in 8th place after the first heat. And talk about PBs, that's another good run.
Great run for him here in the straightaway. Little uncomfortable. He's trying to get over here to the right side of our screen, but he taps, and that puts him into the middle part of the Kreisel, that 360-degree whip around. That's some challenge for the athletes.
Big props to parents. For all of these athletes, parents, grandparents, whoever it is, takes the kids to whatever sport it is they're participating in. You have no idea of your value to your kids and your grandkids. Hiro Takahashi now from Japan. 14th fastest starter with a 5:21 getaway. Came down in 18th place. He's got over 0.2 of a second in hand over Kevin Boyer.
He went early. We thought he did pretty good. He's number 3 guy out of the blocks. And 5:19 start, 5:21 in the first run. That's a good sign. And he comes out of the shade 2 to 3 here. Now watch this combination coming up, this Omega. Now watch the exit as they come over the right wall. Perfect. That 3-4 combination. A lot of athletes have a lot of problems in that curve. That's a real pivotal part of the upper part of this track.
19th here 2 years ago and 18th after the first run. So you think, okay, that's about where he is on this track, but the previous season he finished in 7th.
He hasn't had the numbers last year or this year that he had. In previous years took way too much of that 11-12, which is still out of control over 13-14. Uphill section, 6,300. He'll be the leader, but he did lose quite a bit of time up there. Took too much of 11 and 12. And you know, you try and use the least amount of track as possible.
57.92, only 0.05 of a second quicker than Florian Auer on that run.
2/10 slower than his first run.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the number he wanted to put up. Good festive atmosphere here. Here's into the Kreisel. Late coming off of 9. Got to do some correction. Now he wants to get over here on the right, but he came too far, and that throws him into the middle of the curve. And then down here, 11-12. This is too much of the curve for him to take. He should not be up that high. And that's time.
Spain's Ander Mirambel in 17th position after the first of the 2 heats here. Another of the athletes coached by Martin Rettel and his team. Team Rettel having a big input in some of the athletes from smaller nations. Spain's Maria Montejano in her first World Cup season made her first top 20 cut yesterday. That's a direct result of the improvement that having coaching brings to you.
Yeah, this athlete would have all he can do to make the cut. Watch the crossover. A little bit of a mishap there, not bad. But, you know, he had all he could do to make the cut the first couple years. And the first two events in Whistler and Placid, made it easily, and here he is making it again. So, you know, it's not coming out here and saying, I got to win a medal. It's coming out here and going, I got to have my personal best. That's what you want to come to the track with, that attitude every day.
Last year, 22nd here in Altenberg, missed the cut. This year, he was in 17th place after the first heat. Now he's slipped a little.
Heat 4200s to 14. He's flying to the bottom. He's got the lead. He's showing it. Finally got some good experience at the high-speed part of the track. 57.80. Look at this. Martin Rettel. That's his sprint coach in the left. He's from Barcelona. We met him the other night. He's put some time in, and he's starting to get some results.
And he's had a couple of injuries and surgeries in the last 2 seasons as well. So Ander needs fitness, and big results like this, you know, for a tiny nation like Spain in terms of winter sports, that's a big result on this track. That's already 6 spots up on where he finished last year.
This is 3 to 4. This is where the athletes go to what do we call a scorpion. Watch, see what's the legs come up? You know, he's almost on the side, almost tipped over. He won't be the last athlete we see have a problem there.
Omega sigue, pero bien. Buen resultado después de esta semana.
Always has something to say.
Both Spanish athletes making the top 20 here this weekend. Coach Eric Bonotas with the sled for T-Tray Jack Thomas, sliding for his nan Flo, who sadly passed away on Wednesday. And a good first heat is what he needed to get him into the field. A good second heat. Yeah, he's got a great start.
4th best start. The first one 5:09, so he should stay equal, maybe 100th worse. There, 100th worth 10. Everybody else seems to got slower by a couple hundreds. He only did it by 100.
Well, you need your brain to be utterly focused on this track. It is such a tough track.
Here. No,
good transition.
I thought he got in too late into 3, the Omega curve. And half-second lead. You know, and he struggled to make the cut out in North America.
Now, he was only 900ths in front of Ander Mirambel from the first heat. He's now 5,500ths up at the Kreisel.
Well, Mirambel flew on the bottom, and Thomas had problems in the second pressure point. Kreisel down to 45. This is going to get down probably in the 15 to 20 area because Mirambel found some beautiful time on the bottom part of the track. Here it goes. This could be right to the 100th.
Well, he was 900ths up from the first heat.
Doesn't have speed. This is going to be close. 300s. There's almost. You could tell that problem in Kreisel, the second pressure point, that's where he lost a lot of time. He had a half-second lead. He threw away 2,500ths with the extra there, that pressure point in Kreisel.
There you go. He holds his position at least, and there is a chance that others will make mistakes. He was only 100th behind Matthias Guggenberger. So this is a tight knot of athletes. So Flo, wherever you are looking down,
here's the Kreisel. Watch him come up. Now watch the sled go sideways a little bit. Right here. Comes down too low. Look at that, right there. Look at that. That's skidding across the ice. You can see the British.
That's Laura Dees. She was 6th yesterday. Her 3rd straight top 6 finish of the season.
Well, he's the leader.
Jack Thomas leads from Ander Mirambel by a whisker. Bit of status quo. A mighty quo for Matthias Guggenberger, and why not? Matthias Guggenberger, 15th place after the first heat here in the German track at Altenberg.
Boogie.
Tied for 7th place last year.
Good start, 5:10 in the first run. 5:19, what happened there? That might be a health issue. He's been battling back problems for 2 years, but you can't go. You can go 100 or 200 slow, but you can't go 800, 900 slower, especially when you're only leading by 100. And he just did the scorpion move. The replay will show it. His feet will come way over the top. just came on too early, hit the wall going in, and he won't be the last athlete to do it, but that's going to cost him a lot of time.
Well, he's looked very happy and relaxed all season, but he didn't make the cut either in Whistler or in Lake Placid, which is exceptionally unusual for Guggenberger. Made it here with 15th after the first heat, but he's dropping spots, John.
Yeah, he's coming out. Remember, the British guy had a bad finish curve, and Guggenberger's going to overcome all these deficiencies and take the lead.
And he does by 1600ths.
Jack Thomas had a really poor bottom part of the track, and Guggenberger was good. You can find time in this track. Of course, the track can find ways for you to lose time, too. The track is a challenge.
You've got to know where to look, but Googie walks away from the sled. There's Lizzie Arnold, the Olympic champion, down at the bottom.
Nice job. Nice. Yeah. He knows right where to go in the leader's box.
Yeah.
But watch this, the crossover, 3 to 4, and he hits the take on. And watch what happens here. Watch this shot here. Well, how do you like to do that at 50 miles an hour? Correct. That is a pivotal part to the track here in Altenberg, that 3-4 combination.
VIP area up above the crowd here. They're all bouncing and jumping around to keep themselves warm. First race of the season for Mattia Gaspari, not just in World Cup, in anything. Did no sliding before the new year. This is his first week on ice. Yeah, did a really great job. Came busting out to 14th place. Only 400ths ahead of Guggenberger, 500ths ahead of Jack Thomas. That's how tough it is in the midfield here. 5:30 off a 5:27 first start.
Well, he did pretty good last year, 10th in World Cup points. Best finish of the year was 9th in Park City. Finished 4th in the last World Cup at 11. Ooh, there's some problems there, but 11th in Koenigsee. So he started really coming on at the end of last year.
Yeah.
And this is the Italian hope right here in Skeleton. And nice to see him back, but his job commitments is sort of putting him behind the 8 ball as the season progresses.
Well, I was chatting to him at the end of training, and he said, you know what, it's such a relief now to get this training done. He said, it's nice to know there'll be some money in the bank at the end of every month. And you know, for every athlete, that's really, really important. You've got to keep body and soul together somehow. Down to 800ths behind. He's coming on.
He's got a chance. He's got good speed.
Top speed so
right
far.
Oh! Just missed.
So Guggenberger picks up a scalp.
Yeah, Guggenberger beat him by 1100ths at the start. So Guggenberger won the battle in the first 50 meters.
Yeah, I think Gaspari will be relatively happy with his run here, though.
He'll get a better start time. He's got a little bit better start availability than
and let's face it, this isn't Winterberg, Koenigsee or Eagles. This is a tough track to make your first race of the season on.
The start. Now watch the hands and the crossover. Let's see if he lands on his chest or his knees. One last power step, and the left knee goes down. Now watch the sled. Look at the way the sled starts to bump when you come down unevenly. See that? It goes deeper into the groove. I think the people that hit it with their chest have a better acceleration point. He's a character.
Knows the track well. Bronze in the Junior Worlds here a couple of seasons ago. Now, this is Don Parsons from Great Britain, 13th fastest after the first heat. 100th his advantage over Mattia Gaspari, 500ths over our current leader, Matthias Guggenberger.
He didn't have it, but I think a very good first run. Very experienced. One of the taller guys in the competition. And 5:25, he used to get better starts than that.
Yep.
You know, ranked the 16th best starter. He was single-digit best starter a couple seasons ago. Might be a hamstring or something we don't know about there. It's tough to stay healthy on this tour.
Yeah.
Great numbers. One of the tallest men in the competition. We mentioned that, 1100s. See if they can get out. Look for the red flag here at the end. See that? Nope, they didn't show it to us, but you see that red flag, you better get off the curve.
2/10 ahead. So his slender advantage over Guggenberger is growing, but Googie found speed at the bottom.
This is pretty good speed here. Yeah. 71.6 miles an hour.
Gaspari the fastest of all, but the leader is Don Parsons. Now, can he pick a couple off? Because if he'd been a 10th quicker in the first heat, he wouldn't have been 13th, he would have been 10th.
57-44 in the first run, 57-58 second run. He's the leader, and there's still 11 to go.
Not exactly jubilant. He wants to get back into medal-winning positions.
Does he go out of sight? Yeah, he disappears. Means he's got to come back up. But if they let this go, we'll see the red flag. And the red flag is when you see that red flag, you don't throw it there, but the red flag tells you better get out of here. It's not 270, I think it's 290-degree whip around. You enter up top and you exit below where you enter. TV doesn't do that curve justice.
Big moment now for Switzerland's Marco Rohrer. Former Swiss record holder at 60 meters indoors, 900ths of a second faster than Don Parsons in the first heat. And he is tied for 11th position. There's a definite chance of his first top 10 World Cup finish.
Personal best. This is Everett's best heat ever. He's struggling to make the cut, and all of a sudden he comes from the back of the field, and all of a sudden he's in 11th place. We were pretty impressed.
Yep. He and Rhys Thornberry tied to the 100th of a second. They've come up through the ranks together. They know each other very well. Ooh, little Rocky.
Another victim of the 3-4 combination. Another scorpion.
Don't want to let those nerves get to him. He knows that he's got a chance of his best career performance again. 2300s, opening up his legs a little and pulling away from Don Parsons.
Boy, he's way up at the top of Kreisel.
Height's good if you can handle it.
23-21, he didn't lose too much there. Speed's not bad, but it's not what Parsons had. He looks late in the 14, and he has lost it all. So Dominic Parsons, unless there's some kind of magical line we don't know here, but Marcel Rohner's going to fall. Marco Rohner's going to fall. Wow, 6th best time of the run. He's going to
drops to 6th position. Only the 8th fastest runner, 58.05. That's 7/10 slower than his first run.
Yeah, so it's about 2 heats. This isn't tennis where there's a let. But he'll know. He had his personal best in the first run and made the cut.
And it's all about consistency.
Crossover. This didn't help. Look at him try and steer away. That's the take on. He missed it. Watch the sled come up on its side. Look at the feet come over. How much time is that? Well, here he goes disappearing act, and then he's up near the roof, and boy, he hit the pressure point up there. And his feet are apart. He's struggling here to get off the Kreisel.
Yeah, that big skid early on really started to take the rhythm out of his run. Well, next up is the man that Marco Rohrer was tied with. This is New Zealand's Rhys Thornberry. And again, Martin Rettel has got to take at least some of the credit for the increased performance of the Kiwi.
Big guy. Him and Dave Grizz, as we call him, are probably the 2 biggest guys in the field. Thickest.
5:27 getaway for Rhys.
Start was his nemesis, 16th best start in the first round. This is 300 slower. Pretty good lines through 3 and 4. He's definitely improved when we saw him last year struggling to make the cuts.
Well, last year was his first on World Cup, and in fact it was his first complete season. He'd only done bits of seasons before, so suddenly the learning that he put in last year is all starting to be rewarded.
And he's getting a little good coaching. Some equipment.
3/10 up on Don Parsons of Great Britain.
Better speed than Parsons took. And again, he's a big man carrying that weight down the tracks. Down to 20 though. And the speed in the finish is now not near Parsons' speed, so it could be close.
It is close, but 1300s in front of Don Parsons.
That's the first time that Rhys Thornberry has ever beat Dominic Parsons.
I reckon so.
So that expression, scalp. And don't think that they don't joke with each other about that. I finally beat you.
He will be very pleased with that. Look at that.
That's almost a top 10 finish, right?
Yeah, well, he's on the fringes. Be no worse than 11th, which is definitely a career high for him.
His sister's here.
Yeah.
Kate watching him.
He'll still be grinning in Winterberg.
Yeah. Look at the lines here, 14 on the speed part of the track. Lost a little time down there, but he's the leader.
Yes, he is.
I think he's grabbing it.
There's his sister.
No, is it the sister? I think that was the Australian. Well, here you go.
So Rhys Thornberry leads with 10 to go. A top 10 for the Kiwi is not out of the question.
Look at that scene. Altenberg looks very, very wintry here when it's like this, Martin. It's the first time it's not been snowing. It has been difficult. It's cold, but it's winter. It's the old East German Sports Training Center that they've changed the track around a little bit, added this VIP and this seating area, stadium seating as they call it. And boy, the World Championships here in 2008, there's 15,000 people out here for the last day of the Formula.
Wrong side, Rhys, wrong side. There it is. He wants to say thanks to his bosses in the Royal Air Force, where he's an armaments engineer at Bryce Norton in Oxfordshire. Born in Perth, Western Australia, lives in Oxfordshire, slides for New Zealand. It's a funny old world. Well, they're in all the orange shirts with their hero's face on are the Axel Jung fan club. Jacqueline Lurling's fan club were very happy. Her friends and family were here from the Winterberg area where they call home, and they saw her take her first ever World Cup win, and she cantered away from the rest of the field to become a first-time winner yesterday, and there is every chance that Germany might be celebrating another first-time winner here in the men's skeleton field. And there's the old timing board, and on the left-hand side, that grey area, that used to illuminate as the sled went down the track following the little map and the scoring system. It'd be nice to see that resuscitated. Don't get too many people watching down here at the bottom. They tend to be more up at the top, but just nice to see that working again.
My first time here in 1987, when it was still the DDR for the first Aero Cup race. Huge crowds then. People like their sliding sports here.
Should be huge crowds again when they have the World Championships here in 2020. And we expect to see some more developments to the track for that. Probably the start area, I would think, will be a focus of some attention. Might be a little bit more lighting under the shades as well. Martin Haven, John Morgan watching the action trackside at Altenberg in Saxony in Germany. Top 10 left to go in the third race in the BMW IBSF Skeleton World Cup for men. And with 1/100th of a second advantage over the current leader, New Zealand's Rhys Thornberry, it's Matt Antoine of the USA.
Didn't have a very good first run. He's got a third and a second so far in 2 events in Lake Placid and Whistler. He's second in World Cup points. Start time exact, 5:27. Now Matt's going to need a perfect run here to have a chance to move up, including his teammate Nathan Crumpton coming up next. See if he gets through this 3-4 combination okay. Not bad.
Well, Antoine trying to hang on to a top 10 finish here in Altenberg. Rhys Thornberry of New Zealand is the current leader, looking for his first ever top 10 finish. Antoine easing away at the Kreisel.
This Kreisel was a problem area for him in the first run, and he rockets off there. Up to 2/10 now. Speed, excellent.
69 miles an hour and accelerating fast now over the little brow.
The best speed so far of the heat, 72.5 miles an hour. He'll be the leader. The question is, will he move up? 57.05. He just went 2,900ths better. Coach Tuff of the Tour acknowledges it. Like I said, he didn't have a very good first run. He's second in World Cup points. He shouldn't be back in the 10th position. He has a chance to move up.
Well, that was a good solid run from Matt Antoine. Doesn't have quite the knowledge here that he does back in North America. But he won't use that as an excuse.
Look at his feet here. The Kreisel gets up near the roof. The pressure point almost goes upside down, and see a little steer with his feet.
But no panicking, no big steers, no skids.
6'3" athlete here. He's down in the 14-15 section of the track. Little uphill section, so you can't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
That was better,
Altenberg.
Matt. You're much better than your first run, buddy.
But next up, as you said, is Nathan Crumpton. Started his ice career trying to be a bobsled brakeman and decided that actually being in control of his own destiny might be better. Former triple jumper.
Princeton University.
Cape Buffalo Wrangler.
Speed,
Wannabe
start.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Done a couple of advertisements for McDonald's. Snowboarder before the 2014 games. Almost too smart to be in this sport.
Check out his website as well. Got a great eye for a photograph.
Well, he's got a huge lead. That's related to the start advantage. It's 27-24. Antoine rocking it down this part of the track. A little bit of struggle there from Nathan Crumpton. Down to 15. This is going to be close. Speed is not near his teammate Antoine's. But this is still, no matter what happens, here. Down to 5.
Going to be close with Matt Antoine. Should still be a top 10 finish for both. Will he have the lead? No, by 200.
Tuffy Latour looks on. He doesn't know which way to root there, but that's a good result for Crumpton. Remember, this is his first full year out on the tour.
Second year. He came out to all the races, yeah.
Did he make all the races last year? I think he missed a couple. I think he came out second half.
Trying to remember if I saw him in the garage in Altenberg at the beginning of the season or not. And I've now managed to misplace last year's results. Well, either way,
he missed 3 races last year. But this was pretty quiet steering there, 11-12. 2-corner combination that might be the toughest on the planet. Good lines here into 13-14. Here crossover, 13 into 14. Not bad, but not good enough to beat Matt Antoine.
Well, listen, we've just come from North America, 14th in Whistler, 11th in Lake Placid. He comes to Altenberg. That's his career best result so far, his season's best result so far.
He continues to do personal bests.
So he'll be no worse than 10th. Barrett Martineau, 8th place, and comfortably the best Canadian slider after the first heat. He had a really good-looking run. Now he needs to repeat it.
Start.
Former ski jumper and ski jump coach.
Decent start.
He was one of the 4 jumpers in the Whistler ski jump Olympic competition. That's how good of a ski jumper he used to be.
His best finish ever was a 6th in Park City last year. And, you know, he continues to improve. And if you come over here and do what he just did the first run, obviously Barrett Martineau is challenging for his own personal best. Green numbers, boy, comfortable. Nice. Does he get up near the roof? No. Pretty low.
This is working well for Barrett Martineau. Still with the lead.
Remember, Antoine was flying, and so is Martineau. He's got a great speed here.
Very close to Antoine's top
By
speed.
the way, this is the best speed in the finish. This will be the leader. Question is by how much? 3,100s, 56.92. 2,500's better. We keep seeing times like that. We're going to see another track record before we're done here.
We might see 2 or 3 before we're done here. Great run from Barrett Martineau. That will seal at least 8th position for him.
Top North American. Nice job, Barrett.
Yeah.
His best finish ever, no matter what, in Europe. 6 coming in Park City. Look at the lines here. Head down. Beautiful helmet. Little skid there at 14, though. That's an uphill section and can throw away a lot of time going uphill.
I'm back. 10th and 14th in North America. Guaranteed no worse than 8th here in Altenberg. Thomas Dukurs of Latvia, 7th after the first of the 2 heats. Race 3 of the BMW IBSF Men's Skeleton World Cup here in Altenberg. Saxony, Martin Haven and John Morgan trackside watching the action. Can the older of the Latvian brothers break into the top half dozen with his second run?
5:19, first run, 5:20. Now his secret to moving up is going to be the top part of this track. He's got the 14th best start time, 7th best down time, and he's probably got as many podiums as anybody else in the field but his brother. So he's a very experienced slider, one of the older athletes in the field. 2 tenths. He's going to need to get that out to 25 or 30.
Great run so far, right down the middle, and then gets left as he comes onto the Kreisel.
Exit with a slingshot effect out of the bottom through the 11-12. He's made that 2-corner combination look easy. Going to the uphill section. Is he coming straight at us? Yes, he is. 34, best speed we've seen, 73.1 miles an hour. He'll be the leader. 56.79.
Wow. Pushes back Martineau out of the leader's box. 56.79 would have left him 6th in the first heat, 1 spot higher than he was. So that then puts down the gauntlet for everybody following in.
Yeah,
Track is picking up speed now. There's his father, Dennis. Thomas and Martins, his brother, are testing equipment again this weekend. So it may be that his setup just wasn't the right one for the track conditions.
Well, he's a tall man. Look at the angle on the start and watch the hand. Let's see if his knees hit first.
Another southpaw.
Right knee, yeah. And you see the way it bounces the sled up and down like that. So I think that getting quietly on the sled, it's a challenge. It's not an easy thing to do, but everybody's got a different technique.
Nelda Predulena there took 5th place yesterday in the women's skeleton race, helping her compatriot as Nikita Tregibov gets ready to go. 6th position in the first heat. He was in the bronze medal position in this race last year. Let's see if he can break into the medals again.
5th best start in the first run, a 5:10. Knowing what this guy can do, it should be better. Surprised he was the 5th best start, 5:11. He went early, he was the 8th guy off the hill. And he's carrying the Russian flag right now with Trechikov being suspended. And you know, this is the junior world champion, and this is we knew a couple years ago when we first saw him, this guy had superstar written all over his forehead.
Tied for gold in the Junior World Championships in 2015, and they were held on this track. So he must have good memories here. Bronze medal the following year, which was last season.
3/10 down to 2700. Speed, not exactly the same. Ooh, that's not good. He's got it up to 30. That speed is 73.5 miles an hour.
Despite that hit.
Good speed.
Takes the lead and seals his position firmly in the top half dozen.
Another guy that went 1300s better.
Yeah.
They keep doing this, we're going to see 2 track records. It stays like this, everybody getting a 10th better.
Now that run in the first heat wouldn't have been enough to move him up a spot. So that's the gap between him and the next man on ice, Sun Bin-yun of Korea.
Only 22. And little problems here. Head up, toes out, hitting the wall down there in the speed part of the track of 14.
Korea's Sun Bin-yun lying 2nd in the World Cup rankings at the moment. Victorious in Whistler, the season opener. Bronze medal in Lake Placid. And a chance to get himself the yellow jersey after this weekend if he can bust into the top 3.
499, first run, 503. You know, I don't know what the Koreans did Christmas to New Year's after Lake Placid, but you know, I would have thought he'd had a better start than that. The best start was by Ducars, Martins of 96, and he's usually equal or better. He's got a 3/10 lead, and we saw him head up down below in the bottom part of the track.
Only 1500s ahead of Tregibov from the first heat, so he's already doubled that. Good exit out of the Kreisel.
Huge speed, 69 miles an hour.
Starts fast, but one of his big advantages is
His
this.
head there is way up again.
He learns so quickly. The mistakes in the first heat, he already got rid of them.
Head down there, lost some time, 56.62. He does go fast. Look, 1 year ago today.
Yep.
The coach, Malcolm Gomer-Lloyd,
total time for
the
you
still
first place at the moment.
have that moment in their minds. The very successful Korean program, skeleton and bobsled. So I don't know if that's going to be enough for a medal. That's enough for a top 5.
Maybe not, but all learning.
Look at his head come up here. Both runs, he's way up there. The next 4 or 5 sleds, watch how lower the heads are. And that's at 75, 80 miles an hour. So
Looking over the brow to get the line right for the final corners because you can lose so much time there. Well, Gomer Lloyd, much missed by everybody. He must have coached just about every athlete that there is in bobsleigh and sliding. Sunbin Young leads with 4 to go. 4 athletes to come here in Altenberg. Would you be surprised to learn that 3 of them are German after a snowy training week on this tough track? Alexander Gassner, 4th place after the first heat, 500ths out of the medals, and 800ths of a second cover 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Start wasn't that good. 11th best start with a 14. This time he's improved, 13. So that's mission accomplished in the first 50 meters.
It's so close. He knows even 100 might win him a position, might win him a medal.
100th in this sport at this stage, 3 or 400ths of a second could do a medal and a bottle of wine. Listen to the sound. Gotta get the head down. 10.
2010 junior world champion, originally born in Romania. Moved to Germany with his parents when he was a youngster.
12, accelerating away. This is where he was magical. That's the biggest speed we've seen so far. That's 70-mile-an-hour speeds. 21, not a great exit of 14. 73 and change coming in. Leader, but I don't know about a medal. 500ths better.
Big gains at the bottom of the track.
As expected, they've been training on the track, and everybody came in here for their 6th World Cup training positions. It was snowing, blowing, sideways snow. Track was slow. They came out here in the race, and it's 2 seconds faster than their training times.
He was only 2/10 out of the old track record as it stood this morning.
Everybody, last 4 sleds have all got faster.
Yep.
Here's the exit of this famous Kreisel curve. And this down 13, 14 uphill section. No, he got away with it
the
without
middle of the track. Yeah, good
tapping.
run from Alexander Gassner to take the lead away from Sunbin Young of Korea. Gassner with a 7th and a 9th in North America, now guaranteed at least top 4. Big grin from Alex.
The track is clear.
Now then, here's the hometown hero, Axel Jung. This is his home track. He slides for BSC Oberbarenberg. That's the club here. Now lives in Dresden.
5:06 first run, 3rd best start, but he's nursing a bad back from what we're being told.
Yeah, he had 2 cortisone shots over the new year. I said, did it help? He said, no. It's no worse, but it's no better.
He's got to put it all on the line here. 500 fans from his fan club. I know that was a mistake into the 3-4 section. It'll cost him.
It is so close. He was only 500ths in here ahead of Alexander Gassner. He really wants to take a medal here. Missed out on the podium last year and the year before.
Good line there. Feet together. Now the slingshot effect onto 11-12, and he's accelerating. Not with the same speed, though, as Gassner. Just a little bit off. He's better here in this straightaway than Gassner. He's up to 13. Now he's got the best speed. Nobody's had 73.5 miles an hour like he has.
He has the lead over Alexander Gassner. He will be in the medals. The last German to take a medal on this track was Frank Rommel 3 seasons ago. Good morning, Frank and Julia.
Wow, another guy, 1100ths better. We keep at this point. We're going to see another track record by the top 2 guys. So there's the fan club's happy. Their guys just earned at least a bronze medal. He'll be on the podium.
Germany went 1-2-4 in the women's race. There's Anna Fernstedt. She was 4th. Axel, yeah. Rightly so, enjoying some plaudits from the fans.
Yeah, this cost him, though. Now watch, he taps the take on going in. He gets his, watch the body language here. You can see he's a little bit off his sled, and that was worth the 10th.
Austria's Janine Flock prevented a German sweep of the podium yesterday, and it might be the next man who prevents one today. This is Martin Stukurz, winner of the last 4 straight World Cups on this track.
496. What's Superman going to do this time? 497. 1200ths lead. Now, that's Great start.
Fastest start in both heats.
And now let's see if he can negotiate 3-4. Let's see if he gets through here clean. Watch the right side of your screen. Nice. Guy is the most successful skeleton athlete in the history of the sport. He's dominated the last 6 years.
Needs an epic run here because he was nearly a quarter second off the lead from the first heat. And the gaps come down into the Kreisel.
Yeah, not the same speed. 1700 does not have the same speed as Gassner or Axel Young. But he found speed in the bottom in the first heat, remember?
Down to 1500s, and this is where the Germans are so good.
73.7 was real good. This is what he did in the first heat. He pulled the right track record.
A new track record.
He did the same thing in the first heat. He was losing time, and then from curve 15 down, he just puts on some afterburners and does what we've seen him do for a decade.
Well, two things about that. First of all, gives himself a shot at a 5th straight win on this track. Second, whatever sled and runner combination they're using now, they're ticking a box. That works. That works with him. That works with this cold ice. Now, it might not work in Winterberg in +2, but it works on cold
If I'm
ice.
any coach or athlete in the sport, I'm watching his lines on the bottom part of the track. Those are impressive for him to reach those speeds when he was falling away in the exit of Kreisel.
Now then, big moment for Christopher Grother of Germany, the former ski jumper whose home track is Oberhof, which is not on the World Cup campaign, but a very similar natured track to this. Leads after the first heat by 2200s. Might need a new track record for the second time today to take his first ever World Cup win, but he's on.
Biggest heat of his life in the first 50 meters. Great start, 5:10. I mean, not great start.
Well, quicker than his first.
Heat, but the start velocity had to be compromised there with him slipping into the sled like that.
A fraction slower at the start than Martin Stukur's.
2200s lead in the first heat. And now it's only down to 7. But that's relative to the start. He was flying on the bottom part of the track. He's going to need to mirror that again.
Lines are excellent, and he's opening up his advantage.
He gets out of here. Slingshot onto 11-12. It looks good. 21, he's accelerating away. No one's had that magic speed.
He looks so neat and tidy. He could be a third Stukur's brother. What a run from Christopher Grother. He's now building on his first heat advantage.
Best speed into the finish. His first gold ever.
His first ever win and his second track record. That's a sensational result for Christopher Grother. That little error where he almost fell off the sled at the start didn't faze him. That was a run of remarkable, clean driving.
Showed a lot of athletes and coaches. He can take the pressure.
Almost never see a smile on his face. He's such a thinker. There's Axel Jung offering his congratulations.
First ever gold medal. What a feeling. Second day in a row, first time winner.
Yes.
Germans. They had a big advantage in this track because it was so slow all week.
They went 1-2-4 yesterday, 1-3-4 today. Martin Stukur takes the silver medal for the first time since 2008. Last German to win on this track was Miki Halilovic.
Really?
Yeah, from Bavaria, and that was 2009. 2008-9 season, the beginning of that year, Frank Rommel won. And the previous winner before that in the World Championships in 2008 was Great Britain's Kristen.
German men's program in skeleton looks a lot better than it did 4 years at this time.
It does. There's the youngest Axel Jung fan swaddled up there.
In the orange.
Yeah.
Look at the start mishap. Oh, we see that slip. Boy, that was almost costly. But even with the slip, the guy comes down and for the second consecutive heat breaks the track record in front of a very positive German crowd. And what a way to win your first gold medal in front of a German crowd. And he's fighting for a spot in the Olympic team.
2 track records, different class today, Christopher Grote here. Different class. Runs away by 3/10 ahead of Martin Stukors, who also broke the track record in his final run. You don't often beat Martin Stukors by 300ths, never mind 3/10. Christopher Grote here, what a way to win your first ever World Cup gold medal. Axel Jung takes bronze at home. Alex Gassner, Sun Bin Jung and Nikita Tregibov round out the top half dozen. Breathless finish here in Altenberg.
Well, the crowd is building for this afternoon's two-man bobsled event, which should be interesting because they're going to be flying about a half second, 3/4 of a second better than they were doing in training, because training, it was snowing, blowing sideways. It was, the weather outside was frightful for all 3 days of training.
Could see more track records tumbling.
Really?
Yes, we could.
Beautiful, beautiful winter scene here, not far from the Czech border. What a facility here. And
well, they're just limbering up for 2020 World Championships, aren't they?
15,000 and 18,000 people out here in the 2008 World Championships, but it was warm and brown and different look than this.
They can guarantee weather like this for the World Champs next time, then.
A little blue sky I see out there in the distance. That'd be scary to see the sun come out here.
Well, temperature's so low, it's definitely not going to affect the ice adversely. It might even speed it up even further. There's the last couple of corners. That's the view down into 16, what used to be the finish corner. And then they come round and uphill through 17. And Axel Jung's fan club very happy to see their man on the podium. And if he was fully fit and had a healthy back, you think he had every chance of winning here as well. He finished in 3rd place, ahead of teammate Alexander Gassner. Gassner and our winner Grote here, both returning to World Cup competition this season. Gassner hadn't raced in the World Cup since January 2014, before the beginning of this year. Christopher Grote here, in and out a couple of times. A man who won the Junior World Championships in 2015 on this track has now won his first ever World Cup gold medal on the ice in Altenberg. Altenberg, Germany, the end of race 3 in the BMW IBSF Men's Skeleton World Cup sees Sun Bin Jung, after a 5th place result, take the lead of the World Cup from Martin Stukors and Matt Antoine. Axel Jung in 4th. Christopher Grote here's victory here boosts him up to 5th in the standings. After 9th and 7th in the first 2 races, he was tied for 7th with his teammate Alexander Gassner. And look at Rhys Thornbury of New Zealand up into 13th place ahead of Under Mirambel of Spain in 14th. Some giant killing going on here in the skeleton race in Altenberg. And fewer giants slayed than by this man. 2 years ago in the Junior World Championships, Christopher Grote claimed a joint gold medal. He's become the Junior World Champion. Despite a slip at the start on his 2nd heat, he again broke the track record as he had done in his first, to romp away from Martin Stukors, and I do not say that lightly. Empirical stuff from Christopher Grote to win his first ever World Cup race. So a Junior World Champion on this track 2 seasons ago, a World Cup winner for the first time. Today, this might turn into one of his favourite tracks ever. Andreas Trautvetter, the head of the German Federation and Vice President of the FIBT IBSF, handing out the flowers. On the left is Martin Stukors in 2nd, Axel Jung in 3rd on the right. But Christopher Grote with a little smile on his face, doesn't often grin, Grote Very cerebral slider, but this is a huge day for him. It's from Oberhof, the track that bred so many luminary sliders. I think particularly of Andre Langer, who was a big Oberhof man. And the Thuringia region has produced a lot of great sliders for Germany. And Christopher Grote another of them. First-time race winner. As yesterday, we had Jacqueline Learning winning the women's skeleton for Germany, her first gold. And that's the action from race 3 of the BMW IBSF Men's Skeleton World Cup, completed here in Altenberg. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time out with men's skeleton in Winterberg in the Hochsauerland. You can catch all the action from Winterberg.